Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Progressively Yours Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm Dr. IMANI, my aunt Kynes.
I'm Jay Bernard, my aunt Kynes.
And we have a wonderful show, really good show for you this evening with two of our favorite people in the world. But before we get to speaking with our wonderful guests, Bernard likes to bring us in with a spiritual moment.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So delighted again that you have joined us tonight for another wonderful episode of our podcast. And as it is part of our tradition, ritual, whatever word works, I'd like to invite those of you who would like to participate in this mindful moment, as I call it, to get comfortable wherever you are. If you're seated, if you're moving around, that's fine. But I want to invite you for this 1 minute to just close your eyes, prepare to relax, because you're going to receive some wonderful information from two outstanding human beings on the entire planet. So we want to receive in our hearts what they will have to share with us tonight during this time that we offer thanks for the opportunities of being. Close your eyes, and I invite you now just to take in 3 deep breaths, slowly in and out through your nose, deep and full. And take a moment to imagine yourself standing on your favorite beach in the sand, feeling the breeze blowing against you as we welcome the spirit of the ancestors. It is time, as we offer thanks to the ancestors. We do not worship our ancestors, but we do pay homage for all that they have given and that they continue to give in our lives, that our lights may continue to shine in a world that is covered with darkness. Ashe.
Ashe.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to continue with short reading as I think about Elisabeth and Afemo and the work that they do. I went and pulled a book, poems from Nikki Giovanni. A Good Cry. And I was looking for, something around gratitude, Thanksgiving. And then I found something that I felt and that I feel is more relevant to our guests. Black Lives Matter. I'm not ashamed of our history because I know there is more to come. I'm not ashamed of slavery, neither bought nor sold, because I know there's another answer. I'm not ashamed of dark or light skin, straight or curly or nappy. Let's call it that hair. I'm not ashamed of thick or thin lips, nor that time we waste singing and dancing. We taught the white folks to sing and dance too. I'm proud of Simon, of Serene. Nobody had Nobody made him help Jesus. He did his part. I'm proud of the woman who moaned on the ship at the 10th day for admitting, if not defeat, then certainly change. I'm proud of the rappers who rap. And most especially, I'm proud that Black lives matter. We do. We honestly do.
Thank you for that.
You're
was
welcome.
wonderful. That was so appropriate for our guest this evening. And we liked them so much, we had to kind of juggle and decide who was going to introduce who. So we split the introductions. And you're going to go first.
I'm going first. And she wants me to
wipe this sweat.
Do the sweat, but it's all right. It'll be right back. That's
okay.
Us preachers have the sweat rags nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So I am delighted to have the honor and opportunity again to introduce indeed one of my favorite persons in the whole wide world, just full of grace and elegance and commitment. Here's kind of some formal words for a dear friend. Elisabeth was born as the daughter of the renowned civil rights leader, the Reverend Hosea Williams. She inherited a commitment to social justice from an early age. Her first arrest was at the age of 5, fighting for basic human rights next to her father. Growing up in the credible part of the civil rights movement in the southern United States, she embedded the spirit of activism that would later define her life's work. After embarking on her own path, Elisabeth ventured to New York City, where she collaborated with luminaries such as Melvin Van Peebles, Woody King, Dr. Barbara Antier of the National Black Theater, Rosetta Lenore. Her theoretical endeavors included producing plays by Atlanta playwrights, most notable Ray, Icaverse, and Liz, you can correct me on that last name. Thought-provoking work. God is, guess what? This chapter of her life in the bustling metropolis of New York City not only enriched her artistic pursuits, but also broadened her horizon. She returned to Atlanta to raise her children. It was during this period that she etched her name in history as the only woman arrested alongside her father, the Reverend Hosea Williams, during a march that was met with vile forces of the KKK or Ku Klux Klan. Undaunted by adversity, she joined the ranks of 50,000 courageous individuals in a second march just 1 week after her arrest, firmly standing against hatred and injustice. Elisabeth commitment to global humanitarianism shines brightly through her extensive international missions. For over a decade, she led medical missions to Haiti, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and notably the Philippines, where her efforts culminated in the establishment of the first school for the blind tribe, This initiative has empowered countless students, enabling them to pursue higher education in Manila. Her dedicated services continued at the Hosea Feed the Hungry and Homeless, where she assumed various roles before becoming CEO in 2000. In tandem with her husband, Afemo Omilami, she nurtured Hosea into a year-round organization with a budget approaching $3 million. Her formidable accomplishments earned her accolades, including the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Biden, City of Atlanta prestigious Phoenix Award, and commendations from organizations such as the National Housing Coalition.
Thank you for that. I'd like to introduce her husband, Afemo Omilami. Afemo Omilami is an accomplished film, television, and stage actor with over 40 years in show business. His many film credits include Drumline, Forrest Gump, the Sundance hit, Hound Dog, Fences, Provinces of Night, The List, Alamo, Cold Mountain, Sweet Home Alabama, Tigerland, Remember the Titans, Bringing Out the Dead, The Drop Squad, Sankofa, hey, that's us, and Glory, to name a few. Though Afemo is a wonderful actor and his life has been spent pursuing the craft of acting, his heart is in the philanthropic work. Afemo dedicates his life to charity work with the working poor and the homeless internationally. As Chief Operating Officer of the Atlanta-based Hosea Feed the Hungry and Homeless, now called Hosea Helps, he has worked with the organizations founded by civil rights activist Reverend Hosea Williams for more than 20 years. Afemo's international philanthropic work has taken him to Haiti, distributing medicine, to the Philippines, where he founded a school that bears his name, and to Uganda, Romania, Kenya, India, and South Africa to provide support for orphans and schools for the poor. Wow. And we only know you by Hosea Helps. We are so honored to have this dynamic duo couple here with us this evening. Welcome to our show.
And welcome back again. Thank you.
You're muted. Let's get you unmuted.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
We were wondering, who are they talking about? My goodness.
And the list is probably a lot longer. This was the condensed version of who you are and what you all have been doing to contribute to the world. And we're just so honored to have you here. Don't leave. Ooh. Okay. don't mess with the controls. Okay.
I know. Lord, please.
No. Everything is going to go absolutely wonderful. No glitches. We're good. So we want you to just take a deep breath and relax. It's just going to be a casual conversation. It always goes so much faster than we can anticipate. And then we end up saying, we got to have you back again so we can finish this discussion. So we're going to get right into it because I can go on and on. Bernard, I'm going to let you ask the first question to get us going with the discussion.
Yeah, thank you. So delighted to do so. So both to you, same question. Doesn't matter which one of you go first, and just kind of the short version answer to this, just outside of the professional accolades and the way people know you as you are, tell us briefly, who are you when you think about just parts of your story from age 1 to 12? What's the first, just one story that
sticks
out in your mind? What's the first one that comes to mind? Afemo?
Okay.
First thing that comes to my mind, my mom used to constantly remind me, I have always been a seeker. a wanderer. So I wandered off from school thinking I could find my way home and got lost way out in the middle of somewhere. And they finally found me. But I see that as a forerunner to me knowing I got to go out there into that unknown. I may not know where I'm going, but I know I'm not staying here. I'm going to go out there. And that has always been a story my family loved to tell, of course. But it set the pace for me to kind of have an idea about, you're going to go out there. You know, you're going to be one of those kind of people. You're going to search around. And sure enough, that's exactly what my life has been.
Where'd you grow up?
I'm sorry?
Where did you grow up and where were you reared?
Petersburg, Virginia, Civil War town. Richmond, 22 miles down the road. Robert E. Lee, the war, you know, that kind of atmosphere back there in the 50s. My mom and they came and settled. And so that's been my whole color to my life, that one little city.
Okay.
And you along with how many siblings?
3 others. 2 sisters and a brother.
And you're the which number?
I'm the youngest, of course, and the one who was favored. You know, I couldn't say that, but I was the golden child. They'll admit it now, but I couldn't talk about it then. I'd be like Joseph, end up in a ditch sold off to Egypt somewhere.
Wow. Well, I like that your story has you connected to people throughout the world. Like you said, that's what you ended up doing. You saw yourself as being part of, as opposed to separated from. And that's so powerful.
And not afraid. When you're that young, you're not afraid. You're too ignorant to know the danger that's out there to get you. So I like that kind of fearlessness that I had as that kid, because it has served me well going into these distant parts of our world. It has served me well.
Good. Thank you. Liz, tell us a little bit about the early. What one story comes to mind that tells us who you are? That's not on the resume.
Southern girl, trying to get this laptop plugged up so that we don't have any issues.
That's fine, baby.
A Southern girl who didn't know anything about the world, nothing, because I was brought up inside of a chaotic, traumatic bubble, as they say. It was very, very different for me than most people have growing up. Just saw a lot of violence in the civil rights movement because my father and mother, Hosea and Juanita Williams, were leaders in Savannah and also here in Atlanta. Saw a lot of whippings and heard about a lot of death. Yet I found solace in the theater. When I was sent away to school, I had to be sent away because they said I would be in juvenile home if I went to jail again. So they found a Presbyterian high school to send me to. And it was Boggs Academy in Keysville, Georgia. And I went there, let's see, Dr. King was killed in 68, so I went there in 67. And I never went back home. So I sort of was raised by the teachers and the people at Boggs Academy. I would go back home for a very brief time, and then I went straight from there to Hampton. And straight from Hampton back to Atlanta, started a Black Theater Company, got in trouble, got the doors locked, and ended up with my husband, who had a scholarship to NYU in New York City.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me, Bernard. I'm telling her, don't blame me.
Don't blame you, huh?
I'm not blaming you, my dear, but
she was in trouble before she met me. Okay.
Yeah.
You just ramped that up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, you can imagine being raised without boundaries. You know, because I was the one that ran after my father when he got arrested, when he was in the meetings with Martin Luther King, when they were arguing, when they were saying words that a little one should not hear. So I was never understood this whole, go to high school, be in the band, go to the games, all of that kind of lifestyle. But thank God for the theater, because as an actress, I was able to hide in the darkness, and find some solace and peace. It really saved my life. And that was at Hampton Institute.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Because I know one of my questions was how you blended your two worlds, because you all have become quite accomplished as actors, but then you had this pull from your dad and what was going on in civil rights to serve the community. So it seems like both of you had this desire to serve the community.
Yeah.
How did you make the decision to? And maybe are you still acting sometimes? Every now and then.
Whenever we can. Thank God the strike is over.
Yes.
And, we've been able to work again. Mr. O has been doing much more film work than I, and he's been blessed to have done some interesting projects over the last few years.
But look, all in all, I just think that when we started out, we didn't know it was all one thing. I didn't have the understanding till later in my career. I thought the career, acting, stage, film was over here, serving people and doing other things over here, and my family here. I thought it was all separated.
Yeah.
It took me some years to try to come to terms with, no, this is all one ministry. It's all one thing. And when I got that revelation, it looked like everything began to fall in place for me, and I could take care of my family and love my wife, serve the community, and still feel satisfied about letting the creative energies flow through me. So once I had that part figured, still feel satisfied.
We're good. I think we're
still
good.
Feel satisfied.
Turn this off. We're good.
Still feel satisfied.
So we got, sounds like some technical difficulties from.
And that's my fault. That's my fault. We're going to bring you back up again. Okay. I think that's okay. All right. Let's bring you back up again. Okay. Well, while our producers are working on that, I always try to acknowledge our viewers and people who are. Let's get them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do on the side was, people say hello, good evening. We're trying to say thank you for listening to us and ask if they have questions, and probably doing too many things at the same time. But they'll be back they'll be back on.
Yeah, they we wanted them to come on the show this week because each of the major holidays, I say major, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I think even around Easter, Hosea Helps is always providing meals, clothing, healthcare, in terms of volunteers who come and offer services such as cutting hair, for the homeless, those who need a meal or a place to stay. And they provide and serve meals for thousands, thousands. They're open for volunteers to come and be a part of what they do. And so this Thursday, when they return, we'll get into the conversation with respect to the time, the location. And if you like to volunteer your time during the morning, I'm sure that they will be open for that.
Well, this
invitation.
This is the launch of their big season. I believe they've already had one event on the 18th. But they always serve thousands and thousands of people on Thanksgiving Day. And, straight through from Thanksgiving to Christmas, they have lots of activities and events going on. And we wanted to make sure that they shared, what it is they're doing, the dates and all of that. So we were just getting to the good part of the discussion. I mean, all of it's good because we learned some things earlier that most of us didn't know about their backgrounds. So, and we still.
So they lost power, and so they're changing the plug, and so they should be back momentarily.
So I don't feel so bad. I thought it was my fault. I thought I did something that disconnected. I think two things were happening at the same time. I see them on the screen again. So they're be back. Hello.
Can you hear us?
We hear you. We absolutely hear you. We just don't see you. So we can keep talking while you're getting the visuals back.
Yeah. Let's do it. And we're sorry about that.
Oh, no worries at all. It's it's
every time we try to do this, it's the challenge.
There we are. That's all right.
Got you back.
So that just sets it up there. We have to do it a third time.
Absolutely.
We're gonna spend some money on some decent equipment.
No, don't worry. No worries at all. We were just beginning to talk a little bit about your service projects through Hosea Helps and what you're doing. I mean, this is your big season coming up. So we definitely, time goes so fast. It is now probably time to talk a little bit about your upcoming events and how the community can get involved and all of that. So,
okay, thank you, Imani. 1 in 8 children in America are hungry, and it has been our calling to feed the hungry. And we fed, I mean, we can't even count the people that we fed since taking over this position in 2000. This will be the 51st year that we have had a Thanksgiving dinner for what used to be homeless men, and now it's whole families, working mothers, working people, food prices going, the gas prices, the rent out of control. Here, I wanted to mention to you that it mentions that child poverty doubled last year from 12.4% from 5.2% the year before. 15% of Americans now live in poverty. So when we see the food lines, we know that we have to do what we're called to do. So this Thanksgiving, we will be joined by Aprons for Life Change and Georgia Stand Up. We will feed 1,200 families. 60 of those are senior citizens, And then another 800 will go to home delivered meals to the shut-in and those that can't get out. To give you an example of the need, we turned our website on so people could pre-register to get a home delivered meal. And there were 1,000 people that had signed up in 2 hours.
Whoa.
So we had to shut it back down again.
Yes.
That's amazing.
But that's why we did it in 2 parts. We did the drive-through this past Saturday, where we ministered to 641 families, but you double that number because most of those cars had at least 2 families in them. Wow. Where we gave the food boxes, the turkeys, the produce, the water. We did that Saturday. So this actual Thanksgiving Day is the second part where we go out into the streets, into the senior high rises, into, you know, all the places we can find the homeless, and just pour out that love on many people who just think nobody care about them. Nobody's even, you know, considering them. And the hardest part is to get past the being unloved, being invisible. No, yes, that's what's going on. That's why we had to break it up into 2 parts and put it out there in the streets and be in people's faces and smile and love and hug and say, wow, we're here. I think that is as much what Thanksgiving means to us, is that we can give thanks for our blessings and give that away, because we found out over the years, without gratitude, without thanksgiving, there is no prosperity. And we see that has happened to our people. We've broken that chain because our ancestors provided for each other through the worst of times. We've been disconnected, and that's why you see so many people coming, because it's not that communal sharing that we were brought up with.
Absolutely.
And we're paying the price for it, as you see, all the time. We have to reconnect again, and it's okay. Your neighbor can bring you something. You can take something to your neighbor. Grandma's down the street. Go see about her. We have to find our way back because we lost our way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So Thursday, will you be doing any activities from this facility itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Everything's coming out of the headquarters.
Got you.
And that's part of our new movement. Our son now is becoming our new leader. We passing it on to him, and he wants to establish our headquarters as the hub that everything is going to move in and out of, which we are in full agreement to.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about volunteers and people that support you, organizations and people that support you.
We use 9,000 volunteers a year. That's because we have maybe 12 major community events where people come by the thousands. We also provide rent assistance, housing assistance, utility payments, and other human services needs. So we need volunteers all the time. We need them for Thanksgiving badly, because 1,000 people signed up to get their food at home. Somebody has to take it to them.
Take it to them. Absolutely. How can people get in touch, just so that we get that information to them? What's the best way for them to reach you? And I see it across the screen. Connect with Hosea Helps. There's the website, forhosea.org, and Linktree/forhosea. Okay.
And make sure they understand the number 4, for those who may just be listening, you know, and not paying attention to the bottom of that screen. The number 4 is our number, forhosea.org. And we want them to go to that website and sign up
to volunteer,
and make donations and find out the schedule for the rest of the year past MLK.
Because we want people to know there is no shame in asking for help. Many of the people, they don't want their picture taken. They kind of hide when they come through the food line. And we have to let them know this is your tax dollars coming back to you. There's no shame in asking for help. Don't let your children be hungry because you don't want to ask for help.
That's right. That's right. So do people sometimes just show up, or is it better that they contact you so you know who's coming and you know how they can, work?
Yes, but we don't turn anyone away, even if they didn't register. They're going to get something. We just can't do that. Yeah, her father taught us all of that from the movement. Nobody's left behind. Find a way to give them what they need. And I want to reconnect to what has made us sick of spirit, sick of heart, that got us where we are. That's where we're heading to, not just the food part. My wife always reminds us, it's a portal. It's a portal to us going into their lives to find out, is there drug abuse, domestic violence, mental issues. Something has happened. And until we get to that part, we don't want to participate in a revolving door. We don't want to participate in enabling people to keep their hands out. That's not the Sankofa way.
That's right.
Wisdom of our ancestors to take hold of us now more than ever, because they're trying to erase our history in school. They don't want their kids and our kids to know what really happened, because they will be looked upon as the monsters that many of their ancestors were for what they did to our people. You can't hide that. But they are totally afraid that if those kids see that and hear it, they won't see them the same. They won't look at them the same way. And they're terribly afraid of that. But it's coming. They cannot hide it.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what you're doing is such a role model to kids, to young ones coming up, where there's so much confusion and they don't know which way to turn. They're getting a lot of mixed messages from the media and all of that. So to have an organization like yours that's serving the community holistically, throughout, I know you started, or your dad started with feeding the hungry, and I know that was part of his vision, but you all have taken that so broad, because it's not just food. As Afemo said, people need to be seen. They need to know that they're being seen and felt, and really get to the root of what's going on throughout the community.
Where do you
thank you all for your work?
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think that your work is critically needed today more than ever.
Absolutely.
I get, because it's a spiritual issue in our hearts. People need you to guide them back to themselves.
And the stigma has still been placed on people to come forward and say, yeah, I got emotional issues. I have mental issues. They shouldn't be burdened with the stigma saying, man, something's wrong with you. And our community, that's what has happened to many when they know they need the help.
Right.
That's right.
Look at them as if, wow, something is wrong with me. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So where do the two of you continue to find, even as your son is moving in to the major, perhaps, leadership role, where did the two of you continue to find the energy, the passion, the love to continue to give back the way that you are giving?
I think we're afraid to stop.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Where would we go? But here, this is what we're called to do.
Yeah.
We have trouble taking vacations. We have trouble breaking away. We're married now 46 years.
Wow.
And we're going somewhere in 2024.
I was gonna say traveling is so important. We're going to Egypt in July. Y'all might want to come with us to Egypt. That would be
my!
Wow!
Yeah, he's always wanted to do that.
Yeah,
that's a possibility now.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
we'll talk
we'll get
about
the
that.
information on that. That was interesting, Liz. That was an interesting statement. We're afraid to to stop.
Mm.
That's pretty powerful. In a way that fear is a positive motivator to continue to give. That and as you said the word, I was thinking, yeah, this is a calling for the two of you. It's not a profession. It's a vocation. To hear the call to the heart to give back, and the energy with which you are leading and that you've led over the years is so necessary, particularly in this time with AI, how the states for the years, as you both were aware, just cut back in terms of providing places for the homeless and the poor. So now, they're in jail, as opposed to, at one point, we did have social organizations who did help with the mental illnesses. And so they cut the budgets and we don't have that any longer. So it's just we're so grateful as a community, as a world, to recognize you're giving back to the community in such a meaningful way.
That's part of our healing. I had an image when she was saying afraid to stop.
Yeah.
I had the image of a guy who had searched the world for a great jewel, a great treasure. And just as he was about to make that step to get it, something was trying to come against him, but he was so afraid not to go further because he realized some great truth about himself was about to be revealed, and he just had to have that for his own wholeness, for his own healing, for his own destiny. He had to go forth and do it. That's how I look at where we are now. After all this time, we're right at that door, Bernard. We gotta go and find out, okay, we did all this all these years. What's on the other side of that for us? Because we need that revelation. That's part of who we are.
That's right.
That's the reward. That's the reward for going down the line faithfully. It's something for you to be, it's going to be revealed, and you need that to go further into that destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We need you all to help and guide us. I know it's hard to get us to be still.
That's okay.
We will be there Thursday for certain.
Oh, good.
Okay.
And then when the show is over, don't go away, because we have some other conversation we have off air. But we will be there Thursday to put our hands where you direct us to put our hands, and our feet where you God want us to walk. So we'll see you Thursday morning.
Looking forward to it.
And we'll start off with saying, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. You remember.
Hey.
Of course.
Pono, you good student. Good
Y'all
student.
put that into our hearts. We will never forget any of that.
Never forget it.
All the staff, too. They all go through it.
Wow.
Well,
it does work. What you two are doing, okay?
She's the author of that. And
no, I learned about it and shared it. I'm just the vessel.
Well,
it's powerful.
The author.
It is
Yeah.
It is very, very. So I used to work for the DeKalb County Sheriff, and I had people throughout the jail coming up to me, people who worked there and people who were residing there temporarily. And they would come up to me and say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. And it was like a whole movement in this jail. We
want that all over the world, all over America, especially at this time. We need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Wow.
And let me just say, your children need to give back.
Exactly.
You need to find some nonprofit somewhere where your children, they have the right to say, oh, I don't want to eat that. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want such and such. They need to see the children in line. They don't have a choice about what they eat. Oh, I'm hungry. You're not hungry. You don't know what hunger is. If you expose them to the truth of this suffering, it will greatly increase their ability to be thankful for what they have and allow them to help others.
Empathy, empathy, empathy. I know Bernard talk about that. We gotta have it. If they don't empathize, they're just, the hearts are cold, indifferent. It doesn't matter. Take it or leave it. Wow, we really have a battle for them.
Yeah, I was actually thinking we should bring some of our grandchildren with us on Thursday. You know, let them participate. That would be an amazing experience.
We have to do the same with ours, and they're born in it, but it can become disconnected. Just because something is handed to you as a legacy doesn't mean it's yours.
Right.
Especially if your heart hasn't been broken for it, because that's part of the process. You're gonna be broken about the sorrow of that mom. I'm so proud. My daughter, the other day, riding and seeing a mother out in the middle of the night with 3 kids wondering where they're gonna go. And she put them up for a week.
Oh, wow.
And it's like that seed. I see it. She just made me feel so proud as a father, like, yes, darling. And then when that time ran out, she took me back down there and we paid for another week until we can figure something out. She gets it. So it's not lost. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that is beautiful.
And I love it. It brings such joy to me.
Absolutely.
That's great.
You've done a wonderful job with your children and grandchildren, and just the exposure. They'll be walking in big shoes to fill, but but you all have set the bar real high, but they're there with you.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
And the good part is if they want to do it. You can't force this on anybody. They have to want to do it. Well, and that's what I'm finding out with my kids. They actually want to do this. What a beautiful thing.
Well, they are maturing into it. It's like each generation is transcends the next. Like the two of you have transcended the previous generation. You've taken it to another level. They will come along and expand what you are doing, and you will be equally as proud of them as the ancestors. Your ancestors are proud of you because they know that you are giving back, and they are smiling with you, with us right now.
Yes, I share.
I
love it.
Can you share a little bit about the schedule that's forthcoming for the remainder of the year for the audience?
Yes.
That's a good question, because right after Thanksgiving, we'll be, this is like being a soldier trudging through the mud in some German war, because it's difficult. Going from Thanksgiving already exhausted, got to do the children's Christmas party, because we don't want any child to wake up Christmas morning and feel left out and forgotten. So that'll be Christmas Day at the Georgia World Congress Center, and we operate not just in holidays, all year round. So if you want to give, please go to our website at number 4 hosea.org. And then we thought to ourselves, if Martin Luther King was alive, what would he want us doing? Where do we go from here? And my husband decided we go right back to service. Go right back to creating that beloved community. So we will have a Martin Luther King Day celebration thanks to Delta Airlines. What day will that be, baby?
January 15th at our headquarters. We'll be there all day from 11 to 3. Oh,
wow. That is wonderful.
Yes, and we'll continue the Fresh Food Wednesdays after that, where the neighbors and the whole city, there's no turning away. They can come and get fresh food and meat and produce every Wednesday after MLK starts.
Oh, nice. Okay. That is wonderful. Now, I went to I guess your seasonal launch gathering some weeks ago, and you had some of the local stores and companies that support what you're doing. Do you want to give a shout out to them?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kroger has been a big partner for many years.
Mm-hmm.
They have stepped up. We get a lot of the fresh food for the Fresh Food Wednesday. Part of it comes from them, as well as the Fresh Food family. Then, of course, Publix, under Brenda Reed's direction, has literally given us tons and tons of food over the year that we couldn't do this without that kind of support.
No, we really couldn't.
Hormel has stepped up big time too. We and the neighbors, the community, they still come and bring and give us the donations. When we add all of that up, it's as if a big corporation has given us something. But it's mom and pop, everyday workaday people who have made a difference and kept us going. We owe them so much. And I want to just say thank you to all of our community partners, churches and fraternities, sorority. Everybody has kept us going. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's so nice. Well, they know you're doing wonderful things. Everybody wants to be a part of that movement in terms of helping and serving the community. Not everybody, but those with a heart. And there are a lot of people, I guess you have seen that. There's so many with a heart that want to contribute to the good work that you're doing.
Thank God for it.
Yes. Yes.
And I appreciate you all volunteering your time, because our staff is under stress, a different kind of stress than if you worked at a corporate job where you went in and signed in on the computer, and then you had to do XYZ during the day, and then you go to lunch, and then you come back, and then you go home at 5 or 6. No. They are under a different kind of stress.
Yeah.
And, they feel like, in a way, that when will this stop? Are we making a difference? People just keep coming more and more and more, and they want to do so much more. So I thank you for giving them your workshops. We're going to schedule something as soon as we can, because I don't want to see them all stressed out
or burned out.
Yeah. Right.
But we are grateful for that, to be a part in that way, and look forward to offering our time for the staff. We love them. We enjoyed the opportunity of them sharing with us and us with them, and we look forward to spending time again with the two of you along with them, just to bring a different flavor of moment, just to change the energy in a way that we can help them see how they are allowing themselves to be an active and loving part of giving and receiving at the same time. So we look forward for that time to be with you.
Absolutely. I've totally enjoyed those workshops, and we get a lot out of it too.
We're
it helps us to grow and to practice what we like sharing. So.
Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes it's hard for our staff to find the joy in serving the way we do, but that's the only way you're going to be stable through the good, the bad, and the ugly. The joy must overcome all the other things. Absolutely. And that's what we want to move toward. So when you come and minister, help us to keep that in front of us, to find a way for the joy to sustain us in a challenging season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking as you both were saying what the staff take on, as they're giving, they're also taking into themselves without, and this is not thought, because it's very kind of unconscious process where they're taking into them the energy that everyone who's coming, who's, as you mentioned earlier, who feels invisible, not cared for, not loved, well, that energy comes out of them and gets projected into and onto the staff.
And
they're working to kind of be a container for their energy and offering back love and joy. And then when they're away, they've got to balance out what they've experienced, what they've internalized, what it stimulates and stirs from their own stories that they may not have the place to really talk about and reflect upon. So it is, and like you were saying, Liz, that is different than if it was a corporate setting where they could take this kind of break and that kind of break. And so our hands off to the staff that who are in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, and you know what I mean by that.
Right. Everyone's playing a part.
Yes.
They're all caring, and they're all carrying their weight, as well as helping to lift up the community. So it's a big task. I mean, there are a lot of organizations out there that are doing one thing. You know, you got housing over here, you have the healthcare, services here, and you all are doing it all. So it's so much, and we're really
so grateful.
So we want to thank the Morehouse School of Medicine, Dr. Frank Jones. He has a medical clinic for us. So we want to thank Dr. Jones. And our goal is to find a dental clinic that would do the same thing that he is doing. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. We're thankful for that. We have 2 acres that we want to build on our campus, expand our campus, because of a grant that we got from the Congresswoman Nikema Williams. And so there's a lot in the vision for the future.
Very good.
And, it's all going to be good.
Yes, it is. So we're down to our last minute. So in 30 seconds or so, make your final appeal to the listening audience. What is the takeaway you want them to leave tonight with as we think about the giving and the sharing, the receiving? What would you like to say to them?
You are the leader you're waiting for. Nobody's coming. There's nobody on a big horse that's coming to save our community, to fuss at the governor for not extending Medicaid, and to write letters to Congress for cutting food stamps, and for doing this political activism that's necessary. Get involved. If you don't get involved at Hosea Health, get involved somewhere, because at the end of the day, it's only what you do for others that will last. And go to our website, number 4, HOSEA.org. If you want to give, we have a Cash App, $HOSEA, HELPS. Go ahead, and I guarantee you'll sleep better at night.
Give that Cash App one more time.
Yes.
$HOSEA, HELPS.
Oh, that's easy. Hosea helps. Okay, that's easy.
And I just want to encourage people to know that part of what their healing is going to show them is giving yourself away to those who really need what you have. Is all a part of them trying to break out of what they feel trapped in. You have to give your way out of that. And giving of yourself. A lot of people confused. They think it's always about the money. It's not about the money as well, as much. It's about you giving yourself away. That's the real money. That's the real cash value in what's going to turn our destiny around as a people. Once we all realize we have to give ourselves to each other and overcome the worst things that's trying to crush us now, we will be victorious. But it's going to take that. Give ourselves away. Look at the genius of our people. That's what I'm saying. The money part, that'll find its way. But the genius in you is what people are hungry for, especially in your own community. Give that up.
All right.
The own way, you'll find your way back.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. We want to thank you again for joining us. We look forward to being with you Thursday and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
We look forward just for others joining to share what the vision that you have and to continue to have for the community and the people. For those of you who watch tonight, Imani and I say thank you so very much. Please join us here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. For we are Progressively Yours Health and Wellness Podcast. It is indeed for the ancestors. Ashe.
Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And amen.
Amen.
And don't go away. We're going to do our little debriefing.
No problem.
All right. Thank you to our listening and audience.
No worries.
Enjoy your family day this week, and blessings to everyone. Thank you for joining us.